To reveal the advantages of open questions, click on the blackboard. A second opinion or group decision is brought into play, thus probably improving the quality of the eventual conclusion. Normally, more factors are investigated, thereby reducing the chances of important considerations being overlooked. The deductions of the questioner are checked, and knowledge is extracted from the responder, which can be assessed by the questioner. Because of this advantage, the open question is widely used in teaching and instructing techniques. However, there are disadvantages to open questions. Click on the blackboard to reveal them. The responder may not fully understand the implications of the question, and he may consider irrelevant facts. Discussion may ensue and thereby delay a decision. Discussion may divert attention from remaining focused on the main problem. They are prone to misunderstandings, which may not be identified, as both parties are talking at cross purposes. They are prone to diversions, which may not be detected. On the other hand, closed questions, also called explicit questions, are straightforward and require a simple answer, such as a yes or no. For example, the question, "Are we on the right track?" would require a reply of either yes or no. The advantages of closed questions are: the question and the reply are usually quicker than with open questions. The meaning of the questions is usually clear. Both the questioner and the responder are usually on the same wavelength. And misunderstandings are quickly identified and clarified. Closed questions also have disadvantages, namely, important factors may be overlooked. The assumption that the question contains enough information for an informed answer may be incorrect, and the responder may not feel as included in the topic under discussion as if he had been asked an open question. Let us now apply some of the theory about communication to the workplace, in particular to the cockpit. However, there is an old flying adage which puts any communication into context, and that is, your priorities are aviate, navigate, communicate. There are always a lot of things going on in the cockpit, such as the instrument scan and keeping a lookout. So one's concentration may be elsewhere. Communication in the cockpit therefore needs to be efficient and professional. Unless the aircraft is on autopilot or in a cruise, unnecessary chatter will be a distraction, especially during an approach to land when the workload is heavy. Even essential communication, such as the co-pilot advising the captain of a runway direction during preparations for landing, can be a distraction to the pilot, who may be in the middle of checking something else. Where possible, the person interrupting should remind the other person of what he was doing before the interruption. Great care should also be taken to listen actively to what is being said, especially if one is expecting to hear a particular message. For example, after a request to change altitude, when the flight is going according to plan, the pilot might anticipate receiving the reply, "Approved," from air traffic control, whereas the actual spoken message is an approval to a different altitude from that requested. That is why clearances, such as an altitude change, must always be read back, and the language must always be the standard professional language of aviation. One of the causes of the worst air accidents ever on the ground in Tenerife in 1977 was poor communications, including the use of non-standard language. A KLM 747 was cleared for takeoff, while a Pan Am 747 was cleared to backtrack on the same runway. They collided, and 583 people were killed. We have already seen in the Berlo model how effective communication depends upon the skills, the knowledge level, and the culture of both the source and the receiver. Berlo also stated that it depends upon the way the message is treated. If there is a mismatch in any of these elements, communication may not be effective. Other factors, such as interpersonal differences, will also result in poor communication. The authoritarian-style captain, working with a missionary-style first officer, are unlikely to produce a balanced and equal discussion. Similarly, a very experienced captain and a newly qualified first officer are unlikely to generate a meaningful discussion of any problem, unless both of them consciously apply good communication techniques. Indecision about whether or not to say anything, such as in the case of a very junior first officer, is called intrapersonal conflict. Interpersonal conflict is the poor relationship between two or more people.